where we try to cut through the noise and get straight to the good stuff.
That's the plan.
Today, we're unpacking something I think a lot of us grapple with. How do you really learn something new? Not just, intellectually, but so it actually sinks in, changes things.
Yeah, that feeling of being overwhelmed by information but not quite knowing how to use it. We've all been there.
Exactly. It's about finding those real aha moments, isn't it? Where information clicks into an actual skill.
Mm-hmm. That transformation.
And our mission today is to explore some, surprisingly effective ways to learn English. Not from textbooks, not endless drills.
But from everyday life, just living.
Right. We've got these fascinating sources. They're like first-person accounts, almost a language learning journal. Very candid, very real.
What's so interesting, maybe even a bit counterintuitive, is how the narrator finds the biggest gains, not in formal study, but in simple, authentic interactions, talking to people, being part of a community, just experiencing the world.
It's like stripping away the formal stuff and realizing language just thrives on real connection.
It really does.
So this deep dive is kind of a shortcut, maybe, to understanding the how and why of learning language in the real world. Let's get into how genuine human connection might just be the best teacher.
Okay.
So our journey kicks off in really ordinary places, almost like the narrator wasn't even trying to have an English lesson, like the farmer's market.
Right, the farmer's market seems simple.
Yeah, a chat with Mr. Smith about organic tomatoes. He's explaining, they need warm weather, lots of sunlight. You might just think, okay, buying tomatoes. But why is that kind of chat so good for learning?
Well, it's context, isn't it? The words aren't just floating in space. Sunlight isn't a word on a list. It's connected to being at the market, maybe feeling the warmth, seeing the red tomatoes.
So it sticks better.
Exactly. Your brain links the word to the whole experience. It's context-rich learning. Much more effective, I think, than just memorizing vocabulary.
And it wasn't just tomatoes. Food comes up again. The narrator cooks a chicken curry recipe from a friend, David.
Okay.
And David explains it carefully. First, marinate the chicken with spices for an hour. Then, cook the onions till they're golden brown. Following those steps, it builds confidence, right? In a practical way.
It does. And think about those cooking verbs, marinate, stir, boil. They stop being abstract.
You're actually doing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like in the cooking class, the narrator also mentions the words become actions. It's physical memory almost. And you see the same words used again, maybe slightly differently, reinforcing them.
That makes sense. It's like the language is the tool, not the main focus. Which brings us to cultural stuff, too. A museum visit.
Ah, yes, the painting.
Yeah, a 100-year-old painting. The guide, Sarah, explains how art tells stories from the past. How does that kind of thing deepen the learning? It's more than just word, surely.
Oh, definitely. It shows that language isn't just vocabulary and grammar. It's tied to culture, history, how people see the world. Art, like food or history, gives you that richer context, that narrative, makes the language meaningful.
And even really practical things like planning.
Planning?
Yeah, the narrator and their partner plan a vacation, a mountain trip. They talk about hiking, waterfalls, camping.
Okay, so future tense, travel words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All reinforced by actually planning something real. And then there's that classic situation, needing help at, say, the post office, a clerk patiently explaining a form.
Right. And we often just dismiss those moments, don't we? As just, getting things done.
Yeah, it's just a transaction.
But they're actually little lessons.
Mm-hmm.
The patient clerk, the cooking instructions, the painting details, they're all chances to listen, understand, interact. They're happening all the time if you notice them.
So, okay, after finding these lessons sort of hiding in plain sight, the narrator starts thinking about places meant for learning, but maybe still low-key friendly. And that leads to the library.
Ah, the library. Yeah, it's interesting how it shifts from just being a quiet place with books
to a learning hub.
Exactly. You've got Emily, the librarian, not just checking out books, but guiding, pointing out useful things like everyday English books with stories and questions, or computers for listening practice. It's a free goldmine.
And it wasn't just solo study, right? The narrator met others, Paul and Claire, also practicing English there. That shared experience seems important.
Hugely important. Learning together, even informally. And there was that storytelling session where the narrator actually participated, answered questions about a trip. That's active engagement.
Not just reading quietly.
No. And it leads to actual strategies, like listening to other people's conversations, Mark and Susan talking jobs, and then repeating sentences out loud for pronunciation.
Oh, that's a good tip. Mimicking.
Yeah, mimicking real speech, not just textbook audio. It helps get the rhythm, the intonation. It's deliberate practice, but still natural feeling.
And it sounds like it became a habit. Borrowing books, planning regular visits. The library helps sustain the learning.
Right. Which leads perfectly into that community event, the Skills for Daily Life thing.
Ah, that sounded great, like a concentrated dose of practical English.
Totally. Take the budgeting session. Mr. Daniel explaining income, expenses, savings, clear, simple terms. And practical advice, track your spending, even small stuff. Just use a notebook.
Wow, so you're learning about money and practicing English at the same time.
Exactly. And the first aid session with Mr. Paul, teaching concrete steps. Use a clean cloth for bleeding. Check breathing. And that key message.
Oh, learn the basics and stay calm.
Yeah.
Simple, clear language, absolutely vital in an emergency. And you're learning it in a context where it feels really important.
Absolutely. Then there was sewing.
Yeah, Mrs. Linda's sewing workshop. Learning to sew a button, fix a tear. Even Mark, the security guard, found it useful. It's a tangible skill, plus new words, plus the confidence from following instructions.
In time management, too, with Mr. Steven. Right. Plan, prioritize, focus, rest. Simple strategies. And the idea that writing goals down makes them feel more serious. It shows English being used to organize your life.
What seems key across all of those
But
sessions.
clarity, right.
Yeah. Simple English, lots of chances to talk, listen, ask questions. No pressure, relaxed. It wasn't like a formal lecture.
No, it was actionable, understandable, and immediately useful. That seems to be the thread running through all this.
Okay, so moving on from those community spaces, even though they were quite informal, the sources really emphasize the power of just, well, authentic human connection. And that visit to Riverdale, the small village, sounds like it was a real turning point.
It does seem profound. The whole atmosphere, peaceful, quiet roads, a simpler way of life, very different from the city.
Creates a different space for interaction.
Yeah, a slower pace. It allows for deeper, less hurried conversations. A kind of natural learning maybe gets lost when everything's rushed.
It sounds lovely, honestly. And that pace led to these simple but really meaningful chats, like with Mr. Robert the farmer.
His philosophy on farming.
Yeah, it's not just work. It's a way of life. You learn patience. You learn how to care for something. That's beautiful.
It is. And Mrs. Emily's hospitality tea, homemade biscuits. These aren't lessons in the traditional sense.
No, they're like life insights delivered through English conversation.
Precisely. And you also see that intergenerational aspect. The granddaughter, Olivia, only 12, reading English books. Learning is just part of the family fabric.
Part of the community value system there. Neighbors helping neighbors, being open.
Right, which creates this low-pressure environment for communication. It all leads to that big realization for the narrator.
That's so what moment.
Yeah. Life doesn't need to be fast or loud to be good. Sometimes quiet places, simple chats teach you more than a classroom.
And crucially, you do not need long or difficult words. Just simple, clear, and honest language. That feels like the heart of it.
It really does. And that idea, clarity, simplicity, it ties right back to those market trips too.
The mini lessons.
Is exactly. Buying bread from Peter, $2. Carrots from Mrs. Green, $3 a kilo. Apples from Lucy, $2 a kilo. Practical, everyday transactions teaching basic commercial English.
And learning words like expensive when David sees strawberries are $5 a kilo.
Right. It's instant context. Your brain connects expensive straight to that price, that situation. It sticks.
And it's not just about talking, is it? It's also just listening.
Observational learning. Yeah. Hearing vendors chat with other customers. You pick up phrases, rhythms, just by tuning in.
Shared interests also seem huge. Talking in the park with Robert, the teacher.
Getting advice on daily practice. Keep practicing every day. Listen in shops or on the street. It emphasizes that it's an ongoing thing.
Right, not just class time. And the walking group sounded amazing.
A real mix of people.
Michael, the delivery driver, explaining his job. Sarah, the nurse, talking about listening. John, the teacher. Emma, the student. All sharing bits of their lives.
And that key piece of advice somebody gave. It's okay to ask people to repeat themselves if you don't understand.
Oh, that's huge. Takes so much pressure off.
It really does. Knowing it's normal, it's okay not to catch everything first time.
And finally, there was the more structured but still friendly English conversation class.
With Mr. Andrew.
Yeah.
Introductions, vocabulary, listening, pair work on daily routines, phrases for shops. How much is this? Can I pay by card?
Standard stuff, but in a supportive place.
Exactly. Meeting others like Laura and Kevin who are also learning. A safe space to actually try out the language.
All these examples, from the village to the market to the park to the class, they just scream authentic connection. That seems to be the secret sauce.
It really does look that way. It's the common thread.
So after digging through all these different experiences, the market, the village, the class, what's the core takeaway about building confidence, about getting fluent in English?
Well, it really seems to boil down to weaving those active learning strategies into everyday life, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Asking questions, really listening, trying to speak clearly, reading aloud sometimes, noting down new words, practicing sentences, but not as homework, more like habits.
Right. Not just memorizing lists, more like building language muscle memory.
Yeah, through those daily, maybe imperfect interactions. And it hammers home that idea we kept seeing.
The simplicity thing.
Exactly. You don't need fancy words or complicated scenarios. Simple, clear, honest language, spoken sincerely, listened to carefully. That seems to be the path to improvement.
That's such a relief for anyone learning, I think. It's about communication, not putting on a performance.
It really is. And you have to wonder, how often do we make language learning harder than it needs to be? Thinking we need degrees or expensive software.
Really?
When really, as the narrator found, every little real-world interaction, asking for directions, understanding a recipe, chatting about the weather, it builds a tiny bit of confidence.
Like a multiplier effect.
Yeah, exactly. Each small success makes you feel more capable, more ready for the next slightly bigger challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the most important thing is that fluency isn't about being perfect.
Right.
It's about having the confidence to just engage even if you make mistakes. That's where the real growth happens.
Yeah. Every time you try, ask that question, explain that thing, just listen. You're strengthening that foundation. It's a cycle. Try, learn, feel a bit braver, try again.
So yeah, the journey isn't really about the lists or the grammar rules, is it? It's about weaving language into life, into real experiences, real connections.
Being present, being open.
Embracing the messy, imperfect flow of actual conversation.
So what does all this mean for you listening? We've seen how a market, a kitchen, a village, a community event became these amazing classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about your own life, your own routine. What everyday situation, maybe one you barely notice, could be your next English lesson.
There's your Riverdale or your community skills event, maybe right in your own town.
What could you learn beyond just the words if you were just a bit more open, more present, more willing to connect? Go find out.